Hello, my dear people. I'm thrilled to have you all here today. Hello, hello. I will wait a little bit to see if someone shows up. Today we are going to talk about writing an email, right? So sometimes when we have to write an email, we feel nervous because we are not sure the person will understand the meaning of our words, the purpose we had with this email. Now imagine if you are not using your first language. It becomes even more challenging, right? And emails are a crucial part of effective communication in today's digital world. We are always texting, sending emails, right? Sending messages. And as a ESL student, honing these skills, this skill, writing an email, is essential for professional and personal growth, of course, right? So today we are going to work on some key components of writing an email, whether you are a student, a professional, or anyone looking to enhance your email writing skills, you are in the right place. So let's get started. Just a reminder, if you want to join us, you just can, I actually will leave right away. We'll leave the link right away on the chat. If you want to join me, you can just click on it and ask to participate. And then we will have a chat together. We can talk about writing an email, or we can practice your English in different ways, and we can have a good time. All right, so we have to keep in mind when we are talking about emails, we have to keep in mind that emails vary in formality depending on how well you know the reader and what your status is in relation to them. So, of course, today we are going to focus on writing an email at work. So we will focus on the formal form. But I will also give you some tips about how to write an email in general. If you're writing to a friend, or sometimes if your company has a more informal environment, of course we always have to be careful with that, because even when we have more informal environment, we still have to be careful and watch our words and make sure that we are communicating in a proper way, right? So usually when it comes to work, depend on the type of work, but usually when it comes to work, especially on the business side, right? So if you're working in a company, in a big company, it's interesting to keep the formality. All right. So what should you keep in mind before writing an email? What is the purpose of my email? These days, we have a lot of confusion regarding communication, right? Either when you write something or when you say something, there are usually problems, miscommunication, and people get offended sometimes. They don't understand what you are trying to say. So we have to be careful And we have to choose well our words, right? So the first thing that you have to keep in mind before writing an email is what is the purpose of my email? I wanted to communicate something. I wanted to ask something. Both made, right? I wanted to make a request. So before writing your email, especially after, if you get used to, if your English is really good, is top notch. It's okay if you do it in a more automatic way. But in the beginning, I think it's important to reflect on it a little bit before writing. It will help you to improve and to create a better, more well structured email. Okay. So think about what you wanted to communicate. And then after, let me pass the, you have to pay attention to the components of the email, right? So we have the subject line. The subject line, it's pretty much what is the email about. Avoid general subjects line or subjects line that will make people confused. Be direct. Show what you really want, what you really need, right? So about the sales report or request related to it. Be specific. Avoid general, so people will see when the email arrives, and they will know what this is about. Okay. Second thing is keep your emails short. Sorry, I just skipped something. So let's go back. We have the subject line. What is the email about? And then you have the salutations and the greetings, right? So again, if it's a more formal way, we have a bank of words afterwards, and I'll give you some examples. So I'll just introduce some of it, and then after we are going to go a little bit deeper, okay? So if it's more informal, you can say hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon. But if it's something more formal, use dear or the name of the person right away, right? So Karine or Paul or Teresa, just use the name of the person. You can put them together. Good morning, Teresa. Hello, Paul, right? And then that's how you start the email. After that, you have to talk about the reason for writing, the reason you are writing your email. What is your main point? What is your goal with this email? And then a closing, right? I see many students asking about the closing. Should I use best regards? Can I say in some cultures, we even have, not usually at work, but with friends, we say kisses. And here in North America, this is not common and can sound very weird. So we have to be careful with this cultural aspects, and we have to take them into consideration before writing something, especially at work, as I've said before. Here, there are some tips, right? I start talking about it. Descriptive subject line, be direct to the point, be specific, don't be general. Second, keep your email short. It's not a letter. right? You don't want to give too much information that will make the person confused or not want to continue reading or get lost in the email, right? So make it short. Write simple, direct English. Again, is a continuation of the first point. Keep your email short. Make sure your reader knows what to do next, right? So they will understand your request. Okay, I received that email. What do I do with that, right? And last but not least, check your email before sending it. I know it's a simple trick and most of us do it, but sometimes we just forget it. We spend a lot of time writing it, and then when we are done, we wanted to press send and we wanted to forget about it, especially when it's in another language and you have been struggling with that. But we have to keep in mind that this checking part is really important when it comes to check the spelling, right? When it comes to see if it makes sense. If you can, read it out loud, right? So it's interesting to read, and then you will notice something that doesn't make sense, or if it's too long, if it's too short, if it's confusing. It's a good exercise. Again, at least in the beginning. So then after, you can decide to do whatever you want, the way you want it. Okay? So let's keep with the presentation. So we have a language bank here, some suggestions for you. After that, we are going to analyze some examples of emails. Okay, so no worries. We are going to go deeper and we'll see. I really like the practical way of learning a language. Okay, how I'm going to use it, how do I use it, in which circumstances I'm going to use it. So I brought some examples so we can work on them together. Okay, but just to give you an introduction and also some different ideas, a language bank. In the beginning, you can use dear, right? If it's something more formal. Or as I mentioned before, you can just say hi, hello, good morning. There are many different ways to build an email, right? But I will bring here some structures. When we are learning, it's nice to get to just learn some structures and use them. After, you can vary, you can search something else, you can play around a little bit with the language. But in the beginning, when you're getting used to that, it's nice to have a model and just follow it, right? And it may sound a little bit robotic or not natural, but it's okay in the beginning because you are learning. You are teaching your brain the right way to do that. After, you can get a little bit more relaxed and work in different ways. All right? So I brought here some examples. You can use I'm writing to. So it's going to be this. I'm writing to plus a verb. So I'm writing to ask about the sales report. I'm writing to inform you about my vacation time. So two purposes over there, different ideas, but using the same structure. Okay? Something else, if it's another situation, thank you for getting back to me, right? Thank you for prompt reply. And guys, I want to I forgot the dots here. I'm sorry that it's not correct. At the end of your sentence, you have to add your dot, okay? It was my bad. So thank you for getting back to me, dot. Thank you for your prompt reply, dot. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for considering it. So this usually you use when you are applying for a position, a job position. So at the end, you describe and then you say, you explain that your CV is attached, and then you end with thank you for your consideration. Thank you for considering my CV, right? And then you can say, I look forward to hearing from you. You say it's a way to tell them that you are waiting for an answer, right? If you need something from someone, you can use that structure. Would it be possible? Could you please? So would it be possible to meet tomorrow morning at 10? Could you please print the sales report to me? Okay. And then some closing examples. The first one, the three first ones are formal ways. Regards, with best wishes, with many thanks and best wishes. This is very formal. If you're talking to a friend, or if it's a colleague at work that you have some, that you guys are close, you can use cheers, bye for now, see you soon, talk to you later. It's totally okay. Don't use kisses, hugs. This is it's not very natural, and may sound a little bit weird, even if it's a person that it's very close to you. It may be a little bit weird. Okay. So now we are going to see some examples. Let me share my other screen with you guys. Let me see if it's okay. There we go. So we have an example of an email inquiring about job opportunities. So in that case, we will read an email of someone that is interested in a position. Okay? So look, the subject, right? The subject line, inquire about job openings at, and then the name of the company. Very direct, right? There is no questions. He wants to inquire about job openings. That's it. And at this company, you can even, this is a more general email, but if you are applying for any specific position, you can specify applying for a sales management position. Okay. Here we use the dear because it's a more formal, situation, right? And here it's very common to use the last name. So you can say the name and the last name, or just the last name. And then you're going to use Miss, Mrs., Mr. This is another, we can have another class on that. Let me see if I can find a quick explanation here about it to show you guys. Okay, so maybe this is a good one. Yes. I'll share with you guys. It's not good quality picture, but I think will be helpful. So you're going to use Mr., okay, for a man, right? You're going to use Misters for a married woman. Miss to an unmarried woman, and MS don't want to talk about the marital status. So some people don't want to tell their marital status, to share it. They don't want people to know if they're married or not married, right? So when you don't know, you can use this. If you know that the person is married, you can use that. The man, it's a little bit easier. You always use Mr. Okay, so Mr., Mrs., Miss, and Ms. Pronunciation is very tricky too over there, huh? Okay. So let's get back to our email. Look how they started. I hope this email finds you well. This is a very common expression here, right? If we translate it, it's a little bit, it may sound a little bit funny, but it's a very common statement. I hope this email finds you well. So I hope that when you start reading it, it means that you are doing good, that you're having a good day, that everything is good. So it's a way to express your wish related to it. Okay. My name is, and I'm writing, look at the expression that we talked about. I'm writing, oops, it's not, okay. I'm writing to express my interest in potential job opportunities at. So again, this is a very general email, okay? So it's not for a position specific, a specific position. He's just mentioned that in a general way. And I'm writing to express my interest in potential, right? So they may exist. They may or may not exist. I recently came across your company's website and was impressed by your innovative projects in the, and then you talk about industry field, the marketing, in the, I don't know, any field that you work in IT, right? Any in health and fitness, for example. I have a strong background in, so look, something that's really interesting about this example, and I love it, it's how short it is, right? How you have a lot of information, but it's very concise. So this is very important when you're reading an email. These days, we are all very busy, especially people that work in HR. They usually receive many CVs, and it can be tricky. So you have to find the best words, do it in a short, direct way, and answer their questions, right? So I have a strong background in, and I believe that my qualifications align well with the values and goals of your organization. I have attached my resume for your consideration. I would greatly appreciate the opportunity to discuss how my skills could contribute to your team. If there are any suitable openings, I would be thrilled to learn more. So if there is anything open that would match right with my experience, I would be happy to know more about it. Thank you for your time and consideration. Very important. I look forward to hearing from you, right? Best regards. Very formal, because here you don't even know. Here you may know the name of the person, or you can just send it to the HR. You don't know who exactly will answer, will get your information, right? So we have to be careful about it. So again, let's make a recap here. Short, precise. You start with a subject line that it's clear. You use the salutation, dear. It could be good morning. In that case, it is good to be dear, because again, as I told you, you don't know who is receiving the email, right? It's specific information about why you are writing this email. I look forward to hearing from you. At the end, there's the closing. Best regards. Any questions? Is there anyone? You have any questions? If you have questions, you can leave it in the chat. And again, if you want to participate, you are welcome. Applying for a job. This one is a little bit more specific, right? So we will see the first one, general, second one, specific, applying for a job. So the subject, applying for a job position. Again, dear hiring manager's name. So if you know the name, you enter the name. If you don't know, you can also say for whom it may concern, or only dear, okay? What do I do, teacher, if I don't know? So you can just say dear and then comma, okay? And that's it. I'm writing to, look at the structure again that we mentioned. We can use it in many different situations, right? I'm writing to apply for the position at the company as advertised on the place where you saw the announcement, the advertisement. With a strong background in, again, what are your relevant skills or experience? I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to your team. In my previous role at that company, I successfully did that. So show something that you have accomplished, right? It's this is what we call elevator speech. So you have to show how good you are in a short amount of time. It happens sometimes when you meet someone in a conference, or if you are networking. So you need to have this elevator speech ready. What is it? You have to make a good impression in like a minute. So you have to let them know about your skills. Sorry, how you can contribute to their company, but in a short period of time with a small amount of words. So you have to practice for that because it's not easy, right? Sometimes we wanted to share too much information. I think that every live I say that, and I don't get tired to remind you guys that practice makes it perfect, right? Many times when we do not prepare, we think we have it ready and we have this impression. No, I know exactly what I'm going to say, or I know exactly what I'm going to write. And then we don't prepare for that. And mostly of the time, excuse me, we have a complete disaster. Trust me. Trust me. Next time you have a presentation at work, you have, prepare slides. You have to talk in front of people, that you have to present yourself. Practice before. Practice. Write it down. Talk to you in the mirror. It will make a huge difference. Tell me. Do that and tell me later the difference. I practice that a lot with my students. I tell them, okay, without preparation, show me a slide and present it. And then they realize, oh my gosh, you were right, teacher. I was not ready. I forget some words. I don't know the right vocabulary that I should use. And then I say, okay, I'll give you 5-10 minutes, prepare a little bit more, think about the vocabulary you need to use, the keywords, and then we will do it again. And then they do it, and it's completely different. It's another approach, another result, and they feel a lot more confident, and the results are a lot better. Okay? So I know I say it all the time, but I'll keep saying it because it really works. So then after that, after talking about your experience and your skills, I have attached my resume and references for your review. I'm available for interview at your convenience and can be reached at or email address. Thank you for considering my application. Look, one of the examples that we saw before. I look forward to the opportunity to discuss my candidacy further. Okay. Another way to close it, sincerely, right? So here we had best regards. Sincerely, it's another polite and nice way to finish an email. Now we are going to see an example of an email requesting time off. Let me go back here and check. Is there anyone who wants to join me? If not, we are going to continue. So email requesting time off. So sometimes when we are working in a company and we need to take our vacation, you have to request it, formally request it before. So look at the subject. I want you to pay attention to what we have talked before. Subject, request for vacation leave. Very simple, very concise, very to the point, right? Then dear supervisor's name, or again, if you have a close relationship with your supervisor, you can say, good morning, Paul. Good morning, Nick. Good morning. Hello. I hope this email finds you well. I'm repeating the structure so you guys can learn it, right? Write it down if you are using your notebook over there. I would like to request vacation leave from that date to that date. I have ensured that my responsibilities are covered during my absence. I believe this time off will allow me to return to work refreshed and ready to contribute effectively. I appreciate your consideration of my request, and I'm happy to discuss any necessary arrangements. Another example here. I appreciate your consideration of my request, and I'm happy to discuss any necessary arrangements. Thank you for your time. This is a good one to use, right? Thank you for your time. Before we saw, thank you for your consideration, right? Best regards. Now we are getting into more specific emails related to day-to-day work, right? So before it was applying for a job, and now it's okay. In my job routine, how do I do that, right? So here we have an example of an email confirming a meeting. So very direct to the point, confirmation of meeting on, right? Confirmation of meeting on the date and the time, on September 5th, 7 o'clock. Dear Sophia, I'm writing to confirm, look again, the structure, our meeting schedule for date and time. I appreciate the opportunity to discuss, briefly mention to the topic. Please let me know if there are any changes or additional items you would like to address during our meeting. I look forward to our discussion. Best regards. Guys, pay attention. Something that I have mentioned before. These are very short emails and they have all the information that you need. Okay? So whenever you're writing your emails, use this small structures, that specific structure, and add the information. You have everything that you need over there. Okay? An example of an email sending a report. So let's suppose you have to send a report to your supervisor or to someone. Monthly sales report. Dear, I hope this email finds you well. Repeating the structure. Attached, right? So when you're going to attach a document, when you're going to include something in the email, so you use the word attached. Attached is the monthly sales report for. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. This is a very good structure to use. Oh, too dark. Sorry. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. So feel welcome to write back to me if you have any questions, if you want to know anything in a more detailed way, okay? Or require further analysis, like, oh, maybe the report is not complete. I don't feel it's complete, okay? Thank you for your attention to this matter. Best regards. Now we have an email addressing a work issue. So if there is any problems going on, so this is how we can write an email about it. Resolution of the issue. Very to the point, right? Resolution of this. Don't create anything too long, too complicated, or very general, like emergency or problem. No, avoid this type of vocabulary. Be more specific. Dear, I wanted to address the recent problem issue that occurred and share the steps taken to resolve it. After investigating the matter, we have identified the root cause and have put measures in place to prevent its recurrence. I appreciate your patience and cooperation during this process. This is a nice structure to use too. If you have any concerns or questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. This is another way to feel free to ask questions. If you have any concerns or questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Okay. And our last one for today, let me see once more if there is anyone that wants to participate. So, email requesting information. So, if you need, this is a very common type, email type. Right at work, we are always requesting information for different areas in our area, for our boss, for a colleague, right? So inquiry regarding this. Dear, I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out, good expression. I'm reaching out to request information about this. Your expertise in this area would greatly assist me in. I understand you have a busy schedule and appreciate your time and assistance. Please let me know if there is a convenient time for a brief discussion. Thank you. See, is a little bit more informal, not totally informal, but it's a more informal way to close it. Thank you. Right? So let's get back. Is it clear? Even if you are watching it afterwards, you can always leave your comments and your questions in the chat, and we're going to answer as soon as possible, okay? Let's make a quick recap before we leave. Keep in mind that when you're writing an email, you have to know the purpose of this email, and you have to follow a structure. Subject line, salutations, greetings, the reason why you're writing, and then the closing. Don't forget to be specific for your subject line, to keep your email short, right? Try to summarize what you wanted to say. Don't make it too long. Write simple, in a simple way. Don't complicate. Don't try to create very my gosh, the word just I blanked. Don't create complicated structures, right? Make sure your reader knows what to do next, what is coming out of this email, what should they do, and check your email before sending it. Very, very important. And then just a quick reveal on the examples we have seen here, right? I'm writing to, remember that structure. See, we usually have 3 paragraphs, and this is enough, okay? You can finish with, I look forward to hearing from you, best regards, I'm writing to, thank you for considering my application, I look forward to the opportunity to discuss, sincerely. So ways to finish: sincerely, best regards, best wish, thank you for your time, right? To begin with, I hope this email finds you well. I appreciate your consideration after sharing what you need, right? And then repeating, I'm writing to confirm. I look forward to our discussion. I hope this email finds you well. I think that by now you guys already got that one. The word attached, if you have any documents going together with the email. The beginning, usually we use dear, okay? It's pretty much that. Let me come back here. I hope, of course, as I mentioned before, you have many different ways to write an email. Today, I wanted to give you guys an idea, some structure, some vocabulary that you may keep in your pocket and use whenever you need it. Okay? I hope it's going to be helpful in your work environment. And if you have any questions, you can always contact us in the chat. You can join us at Languistic.ca. We have different types of classes if you need a teacher. And as of September 6th, we will be in our presential place in Montreal. So you will be able to come visit us at Place Versailles. All the information and address, you can find it on our website. Okay? So thank you for sharing that time with me. And I hope that from now on, your emails are a little bit more easy to be written. Okay? I will see you next time, guys. Bye.